Hey guys, Comic Boom here to talk and rant a little bit about comic books, and I thought I'd have a little fun. I thought I'd show some of my random back issues that I've got in the boxes, storage, what have you. I've been spending quite a long time, like probably the last couple years, frankly, going through, boxes and storage where I long ago bagged and boarded comic books to try to keep them in as good shape as possible over the years. And a lot of the comic books that are now starting to be worth something, I actually bought right off the shelf. So I'm very happy about that. Now, I don't say that with any degree of ego. The fact of the matter is, as I've often self-deprecatingly said, I've just been collecting such a long time, and just off the shelf. I've never been much of somebody, I rarely buy back issues. I just bought off the shelf. I've always bought new. But I've been reading comic books it's going on 43 years now, so that's a long time. And so I've literally just 99% of my comics, I just buy off the shelf, and I've just generally kept pretty good care of them. Even when I was a young, like 7-8-year-old, I remember when I was 7, 8, 10, 9 years old, when I first thought of the notion of bagging my comic books or even boarding them, I actually would cut cardboard the shape of a comic book and use use a see-through, just like bags that you store fruit in, like for going by a transparent Glad bag, freezer bag at the grocery store, and just put my comics in that. Of course, at the time, I didn't know that was terrible. It was a dumb thing to do, because that's like plastic that has all the stuff that's really bad for comics, and it's not like an actual bag, like a Mylar bag with the 1 mil, 2 mil, or 3 mil bag that we all know about now. Back in the mid to late 70s, I didn't know any of that. I just did what I did. But over the years, I would take my comics in and out of bags, and I would upgrade slowly, and I learned as I went, and I read, and back then, this was not the age of the internet. I remember when I bought my first Overstreet price guide, and they talked about bagging and boarding, and it was, I learned as I went, and a lot of times I didn't know any better, but it is what it is. But in any event, I got some, this is just random stuff. This is very random stuff that I pulled this stuff for no other reason that it happens to be, it happens to be popular now, or I got the Key Collector app, and I figured, well, I might as well create some boxes where I put key issues in boxes, just so it's easier to take care of, because it's much easier to do that for organizational purposes, because if something ever happens to me, I want to at least my wife, my family, to know which boxes are the ones which maybe you might get 50 cents or $1 on, or at least maybe get a little bit more, because I'm realistic. If something happens to me, somebody's going to be very happy, because nobody's going to know anything about how to unload these comic books. So some comic book retailer, I'm probably my friend who's the comic book retailer, he'll probably be a very happy person, because that's who my wife will go to. She says, get this crap off my hands, and he'll be happy anyway. In any event, I just random stuff that I remember collecting and loving is, and I'm going to start. I remember back in the day here is Rio Bravo. I remember getting bags of boxes of comics from friends who are going through attics and stuff, and old westerns. It's just the tip of the iceberg here, but Rio Bravo, Lone Ranger. This is a great one. John Wayne, Dean Martin, Ricky Nelson. Condition-wise, this is probably in like maybe a 2.5 or maybe a 3 or 3.5 condition. I don't know. Sorry about the glare. Some Lone Ranger. Get rid of the zombie there. Anyways, yeah, nice stuff like this. I love Dave Stevens. Randomness. I mean, I'm talking about randomness here. This is me going through boxes. The boxes are organized, but I just took key issues out of various boxes and I put them in here. So, a Ray Stevens cover. Gotta love that. Anything with Ray Stevens, you pick up. Impulse. I got all the Impulse issues. So, the first appearance of Arrowette. That would pick that up. All right. So, more random goodness. Death. You know, Action Comics, this one is actually worth some, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks. Why not? Pick it up. I'm Canadian, so when I go through a key collector app and I see all this stuff and people are actually buying this, I'm loving it. Yeah, well, of course, Green Arrow, Longbow, Hunters, everybody has these. These things are easy to find. I don't even think this is worth anything, quite frankly. I just love Mike Grell's Longbow Hunters. Good stuff. Some Archie goodness. Archie meets the Punisher, the original Shield. Great stuff. Again, I'm pulling this stuff out. A lot of this stuff, I'm assuming it's worth pulling out of the box and put it in a key collector box. Archie's Love Showdown. You could tell I was going through some of the boxes here. More Green Arrow, Longbow Hunters. Yeah, 7th printing of Miss Marvel, which is kind of funny. This is the green. This isn't blue. I'm on a green screen right now, so you might think this is actually the 7th printing. It actually says 7th printing there because I got the green screen on. This probably looks blue to you guys, but it's actually the 7th printing. I never collected Miss Marvel. I heard there was a bunch of hype. I went to my comic book retailer and I said, can you give me the first issue? He says, are you kidding? It's too popular. I said, of course it is. And he goes, well, I got the 7th printing. And I go, 7th? Are you kidding? Anyways, I bought the 7th printing, and can you believe this thing's worth, I don't know, 30 bucks? It's just crazy. But in any event, it's good to have. And, yeah. Now this is my, I've always loved this issue. I've got like 4 of these. This is issue 90 of Justice League of America. This is going back to January of 2004 cover date, and this was a sort of a story that takes place in it's kind of an imaginary story, but it's not. I forget exactly what it is, but anyways, Batman and Wonder Woman contemplate what it would be like if they got together, and it's really a teaser of an issue as the cover shows. I've loved this issue. And I'm just waiting for this to take off one day. You never know, but I doubt it. I thought it was going to pick up, maybe at some point be worth some money during the Justice League Animated when Batman and Wonder Woman, they were teasing they might get together, but it never did happen. But it's always something that I wanted to be I wanted to see happen. I got all the Wonder Woman going back to mid 1960s or whatever, so I've always I figured I'd pull this cover. I just like it. This here is the first appearance of Rorschach in DC Comics. I thought I'd pull that one. Vengeance of Bane. You know, again, I'm pretty sure these are all at least a 9. Frankly, if I embrace my ego, they're probably most of them are 9.6s to 9.8s, but even if we say 9.2 just to be safe. But most of them are fairly good condition. I have always loved this cover of Supergirl issue 79, and Peter David's run is just classic, and I love this cover. This was a fantastic story as well. It's just great. I miss Peter David. I wish they'd get Peter David back to write Supergirl. That would be great. I wish Supergirl had her own comic. This is Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes. When Mark Waid was writing it, I got it signed by Mark Waid. I know. I wish Mark Waid would come back and write some Superman. I would love that. That would be fantastic. I got Wonder Woman: The Sacrifice Arc, issue 219, when she snapped Maxwell Lord's neck. I've always loved it. I got a couple of CGC graded copies of this as well. I don't have a lot of CGC graded comic books. I really don't. But I think I have maybe 15. Not a lot. I'm not really into the CGC grading. But what I do have is mostly Wonder Woman CGC graded stuff with Wonder Woman. Any event, last issue of Vigilante, issue 50, where Adrian Chase kills himself. And this here was first issue of Hitman. This was actually one that I did buy for $3.95 back in the day, this first issue of Hitman. Because I started collecting Hitman at issue 2. I never had issue 1, and so I ended up buying the issue. Anyways, Yeah, I went through my old image. Buzzkill, the superpower. He gets superpowers when he drinks alcohol. Buzzkill. Uh, I got a bunch of reading copies. I think I got about 6 or 7 reading copies of New Teen Titans issue 2 with the first appearance of Deathstroke. I got a whole bunch of them, and I got my better copies. So I got like the original Marv Wolfman, George Perez run. I mean, I've got a slew of multiple copies of those first 25 issues. And if this is just one random one, I thought I would pull out so I could, just to show it and maybe put it up on the display in the background when I'm not otherwise on a green screen like this. I got the boys. I got the full run of the boys. I mean, look, back in the day when Garth Ennis, Derek Robertson were working on this, I mean, this started off at DC, and DC, it was too controversial, so DC gave it to DC gave it to, or I think Wildstorm started off with it. No, it went to Wildstorm from DC. But in any event, great series. Of course, got the whole series. Again, all in fairly decent shape here. I got to watch how I drop these comics on the ground. They might go from a 9.8 to a 9.6 if I'm not careful. Anyways. Yeah, okay. First appearance, Isis here. Again, I got multiple copies of this. My instincts over the years have been fairly good with comic books. A lot of the stuff back in the day I thought would be worth something one day. Most of the time I've been right. That's the good news. It's nice when my instincts are right. This here, I've always wanted, I paid $15 for the first issue of Karate Kid. I know I said I didn't buy a lot of back issues, but when I do, it's very rare. But I got every issue of Karate Kid from issues 4 to the whatever it was, 19 or something. And issues 1, 2, and 3 I saw, and I ended up picking them up. And so I picked this up. This grade, I think, is in about looks like it's about a 9.0 grade. I had to pick it up. Karate Kid is my favorite Legion of Superhero, as you could probably guess. This is here, the Canadian variant of Masters of the Universe issues 1, 2, and 3. Yes, I collected these right off the rack, right off the shelf back in the day, or the rack back in the day. They weren't on shelves. Comic books came off a rack back in the 80s. But in any event, love this. And terrible story. Never liked it at all. But it's nice to know that when you take care of your comic collection over the years, they actually gain in value. What you focus on grows. What you care for grows, whether it's family, whether it's comic books. What you focus on and what you care for will one day have value. And it will have value even while you're collecting it because you love it. It's a little life lesson there, people. Okay, more here. This was a terribly written story by Bendis. Really awful. It was the sitting in a tree. It was really bad. This was issue 6. I stopped collecting Miles Morales after this. This ended on issue. This was number 1 of kissing in a tree, and it went from 12 to 6 issues to whatever. It was 6 issues to issue 18. I bought it for the cover, and then I finished the story. The story was awful. There was no story to it. They just hopped from multiverse to multiverse and had one long conversation. Typical Bendis, garbage storytelling. The only reason these two characters are taking off is because somebody other than Bendis is writing it. That's just the truth. And thank God, thank you for the Spider-Verse and for other media to make these characters get the love that they deserve. And, well, I guess thank you, Bendis, for creating a character that you never knew how to write and you let other people write it. Thank God for that. Okay, so, yeah. I never was a fan of Stephanie Brown, but when she became Robin, that was kind of cool. So, yeah, back in the day, I liked that. I'm going to start setting these comic books here. That pile now is a little dangerous. Here is Jonah Hex, the final issue of Jonah Hex. I have a huge Jonah Hex collection. I love Jonah Hex. Fantastic issue, 92 Canadian variant, 95-cent cover price. I love it. It's in 8.5 condition, this one. Atari Force, issue 1, back in the day. I love this. I love Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, fantastic artist, written by Jerry Conway. God rest his soul. Just great, beautiful issue. I still have it, great condition. I love Atari Force. I wish they'd bring it back. All right, so then more randomness. Robin, the Girl Wonder. Look at that, huh? Beautiful cover. Beautiful cover. Written by Bill Willingham. Eventually, of course, Bill Willingham had that controversial storyline where he killed Stephanie Brown off. Remember that? He had Leslie Tompkins refuse to, or actually end up killing Stephanie Brown, and then they brought her back as the fan backlash. I was happy the bitch was dead, but whatever. Man, Joe Staten, look at that. Look at this. You can tell by the wrinkle in the comics. I've got to rebag this. It's been a while since it's been 10 years. I got to rebag and board this, but it's in pretty good shape. And when I say good for me, bear in mind when I bought this, I read it, so it's probably at about an 8 to an 8.5 condition. So that's still pretty good when you consider I actually read my comics. I don't just I wouldn't buy them if I didn't read them. Anyways, I love Lazarus #1, signed by Greg Rucka, Rocky family above all. And what a great thing. What a great story. What a great series, Lazarus. Man, fantastic. All right. Oh, look at this. Yes, I do have the first appearance of Harley Quinn, which really shouldn't surprise anyone. I got Batman animated galore, and I got multiples of them. I even got 2 issues of the first appearance of Red X. I got doubles of every Teen Titans Go issue, and they're definitely the 9.8. Both of them, I'm fairly certain, both are 9.8. Both issues of the first appearance of Red X, Teen Titans Go 20. Yeah, I got the whole run. I love it because it's a funny thing with all my animated that I collect. The reason why I collected so many animated is back in the day, in my first marriage, my first wife and I were trying to have kids, and it never worked out. But I planned to, when my kid was born, that they were going to have a full comic collection for themselves. Well, as it turned out, due to infertility, no kids. That ended in divorce. Ended up with all these comic books and doubles of it. And, well, personally, I sort of put those comics aside and forgot about them. And then I met new love of my life, beautiful daughter now that we have together. And I've got all these animated comic books that are actually worth something. Now, I don't have 2 of these, but yeah, gorgeous. This, what condition is this in? This is, I see, at least there's 2 kinks there along the spine. Other than that, it looks good. So I would say this is probably a 9.6 or a 9.4. Is what I would guess. So it's not a 9.8, but it's, I don't think a pressing wouldn't help. It would be a 9.4, 9.2 to 9.4 at best. But anyways, happy to have that. Okay. Second appearance of, or second printing of Spider-Verse, Gwen Stacy. Yeah, I took this out. Again, we'll see if that character endures. I got the entire run of Jeff Johns' Stars and Stripes. This is the 0 issue, and I got the whole run of it. This is Jeff Johns' really one of his first series that he ever did for DC. Of course, the Stargirl. This is now the big thing on TV, and he based the character on his sister, who was tragically killed in flight. I think in a plane crash of some kind. In any event, so yeah. I'm going to pull that out. Why not? First issue of Booster Gold. Yeah. Is what it is. I'm not a big Booster fan, but I do have all the series. This is the first issue of Batman and Robin Adventures. As I said, this is the Batgirl Adventures. This is signed by, I got this signed by signed by Paul Dini. And Paul Dini always signs it in the moon. That's his autograph. And shame on CGC for not recognizing these types of signatures. I got this signed in Calgary, Alberta at Comic-Con. I love this. This is definitely a 9 point. I would say this is a 9 point. This is a candidate for a 9.8. I'm not going to lie. Maybe a 9.8. I see a little bit of a kink there, but it's still it's an amazing shape. Another classic issue, Batman Holiday Special with Mr. Freeze on the cover. First appearance. I got 3 copies of this, but I thought I'd take one out. The first appearance of Livewire and Superman Adventures. see here. I've always loved this one. This is issue 14 of Adventures of Superman. This is the one written by John Landis, where the Joker goes to Metropolis. This is such a fantastic issue. There's a second printing of this as well. Really good. Highly recommended. Fantastic story. I don't even know. I'm not saying that this is on the spec market or anything, but this is such a fantastic story. The cover alone is worth the price of admission. It's by Jock, and just absolutely fantastic story. The way Superman, easily handles the Joker. The Joker, there's a reason why Joker stays in Gotham City. Let's put it that way. It's a must read. Again, it's Adventures of Superman number 14. Buy it digitally. It's well worth it, guys. This Batwing number 9. I think this is the first appearance of... Actually, I think this was the revelation of Luke Fox as Batman. This was more the hype when there was rumor has it that he was going to be the next Batman, but he's not. Then there's, of course, issue 20. I got all the Batwing issues. I think I'm a big fan of Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray and Pansica on the colors here. They did a really good job. I quite enjoyed this series. And I like the original the original Batwing when it was a different character whose name I forget. He was actually in Africa. But I guess they don't want to do that. Just like they don't like to have... DC wants to have everything Americanized. They don't want to have a Wonder Woman who was born in Brazil. They want to have a Wonder Woman who was born in America. So that's why Yara Flor is a dreamer, right? They can't just leave her in Brazil. Everything's got to be America-centric because that's just the way it is because corporate says so, right? Anyways, again, more issues. First appearance, I think, first appearance of Luke Fox, I think, as Batman, Batwing, or whatever. I don't even know why this. I don't know why this was such a big deal. If he's Batman, he was Batwing here, or this is when Luke Fox took over as Batwing, but he was Batwing, not as Batman. So I don't know why the spec market gets all excited sometimes. First issue of Ex Machina. This was a terrible series. It had its moments, but I'm not really much of a Brian K. Vaughan fan. Terrible ending on this. It had its moments, but for the most part, I got this for the art, and some of the stories were not half bad. The journey was okay. Some of the stories itself, but boy, what a garbage ending. That's also a shitty ending to Y the Last Man. Probably one of the worst endings in comics, in my opinion. But I got that whole series too because the journey getting there was really good. Saga's going to be the same thing. Saga's an enjoyable read. I recommend it, but I know the ending's going to suck because Brian K. Vaughan does not know how to make a landing. I would never want that guy to fly a plane. Avengers No Surrender. Yeah, this is the Hulk, so bad. Everybody and his dog has this, I'm sure. Spider-Man, issue 1 of Spider-Man, Miles Morales Spider-Man. It's like, meh. Everybody and their dog has that. Harley and Ivy, first issue. This is signed by Paul Dini, and I got it signed by both Paul Dini and the cover artist, Bruce Timm. So Bruce Timm and Paul Dini both signed this one. So I definitely want that. I even got that in hard plastic, my own hard plastic. That's my own way to CGC it. So we got Teen Titans issue 23, the original series. I've got 3 copies of this thing. I love it in different grades because it's Donna Troy. I love Donna Troy in any incarnation, and so whenever I see this, I always try to pick it up. This one, the first time I bought this when I was a young lad in a bookstore. I must have been, good Lord, that must have been 30 years ago. And so technically I bought it as a back issue 30 years ago, but 30 years ago I wasn't buying any back issues, but there you go. I guess maybe I made myself, I've told a little bit of a lie, but love this. Gorgeous cover. In fact, who is that cover artist? I'm not even sure. I should probably know the answer to that. Is that, no. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I forget. It looks familiar to me, but I can't place it off the top of my head. Robert Hack, Afterlife with Archie. Got a whole slew of him, Afterlife with Archie. Got a lot of his variant covers. Fantastic. All right. First issue of Power Girls, signed by Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti. And yeah, Amanda Connor's signature is right there. I don't know if you can see that. and Jimmy Palmiotti's is right there. Sorry for how does that, the reflection, but in any event, yeah, it's great. I love Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti. I got an issue of Painkiller Jane, the hardcover, the nude edition of Painkiller Jane, the special nude variant drawn by Amanda Conner. It's pretty good. All right, another Batman, Mad Love, signed by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. So, yeah, how can I go wrong with that? Great stuff. Yeah, another great Wonder Woman cover. I thought I'd pull that. This one here is another one I did buy. This is the second appearance of Jonah Hex in what I think is it's come out in 1972. It says $40, but I know I paid $30 for it at the time because I bought a couple of other comics with it. The condition is, like I said, it's fine. So I would say it's about a 7 condition, about a 7, maybe it's maybe 6.5 to a 7. But I always wanted it, and I'm missing my first appearance of Jonah Hex. I almost bought one at New York City Comic Con when I went there with Trevor at Dark Knight Nation in October of 2019. For a 9.0, I could have got it for, I probably could have got it for $350, $400 Canadian, American, I mean. But I never bit the bullet. I kind of regret not doing it. I should have done it, but anyways, obviously Snyder Jacques Detective Comics 880. This is known just for its cover. I mean, pretty much any guy who collects Detective has this. Great cover. More random goodness. Young Avengers number 1. I'd never collected Young Avengers. I just bought the first issue. I swear to God. And I stopped because I didn't like it. And, well, I guess I got the first issue. That's the one thing about the spec market, which goes to show how sort of sad the spec market is that you really just need to get the first issue of shit. And that's all you need to do, because that's the only thing that's ever worth money. Now, I know that's not kind of true, but it is kind of true. Really, it's kind of true, In any event, free comic book day, Umbrella Academy. Yeah, it's nice. Thing is with free comic book day, guys, I don't know what you guys do, but my retailer says to me point blank that he doesn't get all the free comic books. But he says, if I want him to order all the free comic book days that all the different comic book publishers are putting out, he says he'll do it, but I got to pay him $25. So most years, not every year, most years, I will decide whether or not I want to do that. And it just so happened the year that this came out, I said, sure, I'll try it. I gave him $25 for all of them. Because normally he just gets 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 free comics. He doesn't order all of them unless you special or unless you pay for it. And for, I did a couple of years, and some of the years I didn't. I regret it because there was some good stuff in there. But anyways, I'm not sure what your retailer does, but it is what it is. First issue of Scalped. I love this series. This is fantastic. Jason Aaron and R.M. Guerra. Fantastic. Really, this is a great series. And I got all the issues. Fantastic. And I want to buy it as a collected edition. Maybe I will one day. Vampirella Commemorative Edition, issue 1. I mean, this was actually, remember that Spider-Woman cover? That's so provocative. This was even before Spider-Woman, yet nobody complained about this when this came out. Nobody was up in arms about this. I mean, how can anybody look at this? If you're a Purian fanboy, how can you not buy this? Of course I'm going to buy that. Look at that. I mean, it's pointing right at the top. I mean, good grief. Good stuff. All right, so random. Yeah, I did. I've always had an first issue of Black Panther number 1. Not in great condition. I know when I bought it, it wasn't in great condition, but it was in the same condition now as when I bought it, which is a testament to the fact of how well I've kept some of my older comics. But no, this is probably like a 3.0 or 3.5 condition in terms of if you look at the spine. Although the cover is in pretty good condition, but it's definitely got some breaks. So I'd say maybe 3.5, 4 at tops. Anyways, first issue of Simpsons. Woo! Again, I got maybe the first 10 issues, and I stopped collecting it. Same with Ren and Stimpy and all those other ones, and good Lord, Rick and Marty and all that jazz. All right, Moon Knight #1. Yeah, I was never actually a big fan of Moon Knight, but I'm more of a Moon Knight fan now. I just read recently for a podcast that I did with Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Dark Knight Nation. We read Jeff Lemire's Moon Knight, and we sort of talked about that. But yeah, this is a really good, and this is actually in pretty good condition. I should, my God, this is in really good condition. This might be a 9.8. Wow, no, this is in really good condition, this one. Anyways, yeah, so here we go. Yes, Jonah Hex #1. This is in really good condition. I believe this was a 9.2. Wait a minute. It says it was self-graded by the person that I got it from, 8.5. But in any event, got this for $46. Well worth it. Because I didn't, he wanted 85 for it, and I said, are you crazy? And this was, anyways, so I jewed him down, and I got it, you know. Okay, so Red Sonja #7, just a classic cover. I mean, look at that beer mug, right? Your eyes just want to focus in on that beer, right? I mean, I feel like having a beer right now. I don't know about you guys. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Art term cover, Batgirl and Supergirl issue 14. Yeah, classic cover, great. Good to have the whole run. This is Canadian variant, Thor 3037. I got 3 of these. 3 Canadian variant, plus I got 3 of these, and then 2 of the American. And I don't know why. Don't ask me why. But over the years, I always saw these things in dollar bins. For years. Walt Simonson's run was just everywhere. And so whenever I saw this cover, I always just pick it up. So I got like 5 copies of this cover. 5. And this one's probably in maybe the best condition. The rest, I'm sure I've got them, most of them are at least an 8.5 to a 9.8, 9.6 for sure. Anyways, yeah, good stuff. First X-Men, Jim Lee. I was never a fan of the X-Men, but I do have a lot of early X-Men. Let me scratch that. I don't have a lot of early X-Men. I have a lot of X-Men from issues 168 to 240. So that's not really that early. You know, I think when Rogue first showed up, and then for about 5-6 years after that, into and then I got the whole New Mutants run, and then I just stopped because I just didn't like it. Still don't like the X-Men really. But this one here, I actually had. This was a Whitman Superboy. Now this is actually worth something. I got a whole run of. I shouldn't say run, because Whitman didn't do runs, but I do have a lot of Whitman comic books that they did for DC. And this is, again, apparently this is one of the more rare ones. I think this is even worth $300. Apparently, according to Key Collector app, American. I can't believe that, but apparently it's rare. Because apparently this was only found in 3-packs. Well, I remember back in the day buying 3-packs, but I don't remember this ever being in a 3-pack, but I had to acquire it somehow. Anyways. Yeah, I got a whole slew of Wonder Woman. This, again, I think I might have 5 or 6 copies of these. I mean, these are just gorgeous. Again, I got multiple printings of Brian Boland covers. Anytime I see a Brian Boland cover, I buy it. And in particular, guys, the cheapest Brian Boland covers you can get on the market right now are probably his Invisibles run. He did a run of covers for the Invisibles that was just great. I not only have this, I actually have the statue, the Wonder Woman statue that goes along with this, which I could probably show you. I can try to show you if I don't bust it. Here we go. Look at that, huh? In case you're wondering what this looks like from behind, there you go. But yeah, this is a nice statue. In fact, you can maybe see it if I move that over to where the sun is, right down there. It actually looks pretty good with the green screen in the background, isn't that, huh? So there you go. That's Wonder Woman right there. And yeah. So now, how many of these statues were made? Because in many, you know, you can see how gorgeous the cover was. There is 5,000 of these were made. This is number 3,798 out of 5,000 of these statues that were made. And yeah, great stuff. This, there's a hell of a story behind this statue, but unfortunately, I can't tell it. Because YouTube wouldn't allow, they would probably force me to take down the video, but it's a real good story, I tell you what. Okay, a few more here, and I'll just stop. Yeah, I just pulled these. First issue of Fables. This one was the 1 in 10 variant of Fables signed by Bill Willingham. This is the first issue, and this is Hulk 340. Now, why do I have this issue of G.I. Joe? It's issue 67. Well, it's because this has actually 2 covers on it. When you flip this cover over, there's another identical cover underneath. It's a printing error. And I think I have the only one in existence. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not, but there's 2 covers on this. I've got a Star Wars issue 50 that has 2 covers on it as well. 2 covers. Like, that's really unheard of. Like, I mean, it's possible. There are comic books that have more than 1 cover. Very famously, there's a Secret Wars issue number 8, first appearance of Black Spider-Man, black outfit of Spider-Man. There's one that has 2 covers. That's a very famous one. It's worth a lot. This is an insignificant issue, but it's got 2 covers. So I think, well, maybe I should send it in for CGC grading, because apparently for CGC grading, they take whatever cover is best, gets the highest grade. And this top cover here, I'm thinking if I got this pressed that it would be a 9.8 straight up. And the bottom cover is the next cover as well underneath is probably the same thing. Okay. What else? Okay, we got Next Men. This is Next Men issue 3 of 4. John Byrne's Next Men issues 21. Good Lord. Anyways, first appearance of Hellboy. I actually have that. I did not know I had it. I knew I had Next Men. I've never collected Hellboy. But apparently, there you have it. It's there. First appearance. First, Grant Morrison's JLA run, issue 1. The Guardian. No. No, he's Black Knight. Sorry. Black Knight and Red Guardian. Hey. Cool. What can I say? Well, The Dark Knight Returns. Had that. Classic. Second printing of JSA classified number 2. Adam Hughes cover. Fantastic. Gotta have that for a collection. And first appearance of Devil Dinosaur. This one here it says $25 on it. I got this. I actually won this at a Comic-Con in Calgary, because I don't collect Devil Dinosaur, but I won it, so then I took it. In fact, it's because I won this that I bought the first issue of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which ironically enough is worth more than this one now. So it's kind of funny. But anyways, I won this, and I won this the same time that I won this. It was part of a package. This is the first appearance of Warlord in first issue special. So that's cool. Yeah. And then, of course, I got the first issue of Punisher and Batgirl number 11, more Archer goodness, and first appearance of Lady Shiva. I've got multiple copies of the first appearance of Lady Shiva. You can tell the green screen effect is having an impact on her green outfit there. Woohoo! Anyways, and of course a classic. Look at the green on Guy Gardner. Anyways, Justice League number 5. But in any event, that's just one box, guys. I've got another 27 boxes like this, which that's just on my loft here, which frankly is, most of those are filled with just issues that I consider to be the key issues. So the actual storage that I have is elsewhere, which has a lot more comics. So it's like I said, I've been going through it all, and it's just sort of random goodness. So because I think over time I just want to unload all these things and just, maybe put the money in the bank or do something with them, or just, I don't know. Maybe it's better to have the money in the bank, or maybe I should let them grow in value. I don't know. I don't know if they're worth that much in the general scheme of things in the long run. Maybe I should unload them. I also, by the way, have the whole slew of these cards, these Marvel 1990 cards, which apparently, I got tons of them, and literally, just tons of these cards, and all the foil cards, and all the crazy. Market's crazy, isn't it? But in any event, guys, I thought I'd share that with you guys. Frankly, I'm a little bit bored this Sunday afternoon, so I thought I'd have a little bit of fun here. Share with you guys some random nonsense from a random comic book box here, and I will probably show some random comic books later, probably next week as well, just to go through. And plus, it reminds me of what I have, because quite frankly, I forget what I have. I forget. I got to remind myself, because that's just the way it is. And it brings back good memories, too, because I remember buying all of these and reading them off the rack. Most of them, there was a couple there, as I said, that obviously do constitute what I would consider a back issue. But in any event, guys, thanks for watching. If you let me know what your favorite comic book was that I showed you, and like I do, and if it's something really interests you, let me know what it is. If something interests you that you'd even want to buy, feel free to let me know. I can direct message you, and we could probably give you a deal. We'll see. And it never hurts to ask. Remember, it never hurts to ask. And because hey, we're a comic book community. We're all in this together. And let's have some fun. And what are friends for if we can't share comic books, right? And give each other some good deals. So, guys, until next time, Comic Boom out.